Давайте начинать. Вы можете писать свои вопросы на YouTube. Я, наверное, там буду основные вопросы смотреть. Мы обязательно к ним
Let's start.
перейдем.
Or you can write your questions on YouTube. I will see all questions. For sure, Sergey, the floor is yours. Well, I'd like to remind you that this is webinar within the pre-launch of the project. It doesn't mean that we have already launched the project. So here in this broadcasting, you can see how we are creating this new project, new generation airships. So we will tell you about the plan of our work, our team, how it will all be done, and this webinar. And I'd like to mention that we have just arrived from Army 2024 exhibition together with Pavel. So this is an exhibition where our current project is being exhibited. We are finishing its finance, and this is SOLARGROUP project. So I guess that it's really interesting to see that very soon you will see the broadcastings about it. Angular grinder can be found there. All our team was there. There were quite a lot of people, so it was unbelievable. Speaking about the previous project, I'd like to remind you that the work continues. The financing is continuing. We're preparing for becoming a joint stock company. We are still working with Special March project. All this work is in process, so you should not worry about it. Now, let's speak about airships. I would like to begin mentioning why we started to prepare this project now, why we have decided to work with it, although we have not finished the previous one. So we are a financial company, Solar Group Fund. We're an investment, crowd investment company. We have almost 1.5 registered users, 70,000 active investors. The amounts are quite small. Average check is $2,000. We have our Solar Group team. I mean that we have quite big, serious international managed machine that monitors ours and that is able to finance various projects. And we have always said that when this project has existed, we are looking for new projects anyway. We didn't want to be to lose our focus from the project that we wanted to finish. That's why we did not launch other projects, but we have always received information about other projects at various stages. And now, so I met Kirill 3 years ago, and during all these 3 years, we have been thinking about this project. When we started, we went to Germany to fly on airships. So as for me, I was deciding whether I'm sure to participate in this project or not, whether I am sure to speak to other people about it. So now my task is to pack all of that and explain it to you, our audience, our participants of the project. I understand that currently the main spectators, the main participants of the project are people that already work with us. But I also understand that this airships project is huge and it is quite interesting. This topic of airships, the technology itself, is really promising. We can frequently hear about it. This is one of the criteria why we selected these airships. Secondly, this is our team, a professional, academic, institutional team of people that have experience in creating and using airships. That's why this is a team that was well prepared. The process of selection was quite long. This project is large scale. It's possible to scale it up. It is very profitable. These are the factors that we took all of that into account. We were not emotional when we were thinking about it, not because we really needed it. No, we were quite conscientious when we were selecting this project. It actually took time for us to analyze everything, and now we know that we can work with these people, and we have really cool team. And we will speak about this project today. So, what is the idea? What do we want to do? We are creating a company that will produce that will develop, produce, and use new generation airships. What does it mean, new generation airships? I can give you an example. If you take a look at the history of development of any piece of equipment, I don't know, aircraft, for example, 100 years ago, 50 years ago, today, car, telephone, same. So if you look at dirigibles, you will see that they were devised more than 100 years ago, but for the last 50 years, well, first of all, airships exist. I mean, that it is true, but approximately 50 years ago, these airships have stopped to be improved. For example, in Russia, there is a car that was developed 60 years ago and was not improved, and there is Porsche car. Every 2 or 3 years, this car is changed, and what do we have as a result? These are both car technologies, but our Soviet car looks like Soviet car and Porsche Cayenne looks like Porsche Cayenne. They're actually the same, but Porsche Cayenne is actually better, and that is our idea as well. We would like to use contemporary methods of design, contemporary materials, equipment, avionics, and create a contemporary machine, contemporary car that is newly developed. I can give you an example. For example, there is a passenger car, small car, small truck, big trucks, and so on. And that is the way we see the development of airships in various areas, and we will also develop these airships for the needs of various customers. Speaking about the sphere of application or plans, what exactly we will build, what it will look like, and which specific models will exist, for which purposes they will exist, all of that will be shared with you by Fyodor in the second part of our transmission. And in today's webinar, we will speak about the structure of the company, the marketing component, how we will develop it. I think that all of you know that this pre-launch started with a Telegram chat that is still alive. I also created a news channel where we will consolidate all information, because before that, our qualitative information was mixed with discussions. It's not right. I guess that you've seen that there are approximately 2,000 people in this chat. I'd like to remind you that I created it on the 25th of July, and today is 13th of August. So a bit more than 2 weeks have passed, and we already have our first results that I have published. I can see the results straight away. Yes, I think that you know that this project is divided by 20 stage plus stage 0. We are at stage 0 now, when we have maximum amount of risks. There is nothing but our presentations. Believe in us. That's why this is the most promising stage, and other stages. So the following stage will be twice less profitable. So in a few words, that I also published in this group, that is approximately $1,700,000 liabilities that we sold. These are installments, plus $109,000 the money that was received. That is what we have done since the first presentation. 5 days have passed. Today is the 6th day. So currently the access to the statistics is open. Each of you has it. Actually, this is our internal working information, and I'm not sure that it will be available in future. Why? We don't mind that people can see it, but according to the experience of our previous project, we think that it's better to have it this way. On the one hand, when people see these numbers, they become more motivated. You can see that today we will have a webinar. I guess that you will see quite significant growth. So you can see on this chart that we have peak amount of investments on the day of the conference, and after that this amount goes down. So after this webinar, we will have the same picture, and conclusions that you make can be wrong. For example, we understand that it will be growing, sometimes it will fall like a sinus, because when people see a growing chart, they become inspired. But when they see that it is not growing, it hasn't been growing evenly for the last 4 months, this can become anti-information. So people will think that something is going wrong and I don't want to invest. So I guess that it makes the project more, I don't know, to be on the safe side, because our task is to provide for financing so that we would have enough money. Pavel, will be announced that we're going to change. We are planning to finish stage 0 when we attract $2.5 million investment, but most likely we will change it down to $1 million, because the rates are quite high, and we understand that the task that were planned for stage 0 will be moved to stage 1 because they are more likely related to it. So these are the introductory remarks, and you have shown the statistics, right? I just didn't get it. Yes. So you have seen this slide and everything. Yes. So indeed, all of that has been discussed. That's why, colleagues, you can see that $100,000 is the amount that actually came, and if we raise only 1 million, I guess that it will be done within a few weeks, maybe 1 month. It's maximum. You just need to remember that if you want to be in time, and I would like to show you this slide as well. So this is pre-launch. Financing has not started yet. We're only preparing, and something is changing. So you said 2.5 million, now 1 million, and it can happen because you are seeing the development of this project on air. Normally, it is happening behind the scenes when the decision has already been made, and now we are preparing it. That's why these investment conditions, the average discount is approximately 1,000 at stage 1. When everything is clear, everything has been calculated, the discount would be 500. So the shares will be sold twice as expensive. That's why now I guess that people that have been with us for a long time want to invest. So we don't need to explain things to them. We don't need to provide them guarantees, documents, and all things like that. So briefly speaking about the history, if we have spectators that have been with us since the beginning of Dmitry Duyunov's project, probably you remember that we had the same stage in Duyunov projects. We didn't have the company, the accounts, the merchants, the website, and so I guess that probably people actually sent me physically like 100 million rubles to my Sberbank card, and I sent a message to my accountant that introduced this payment, and people sent their email as a comment to this message. And after that, we moved all this base to the central base. So this was the start of that project, and now we are a bit more serious. We are a bit larger, but still, we have people like that because they are coming to, they don't know what, and our task is to eliminate this uncertainty now. And I can say that now we see that people that have been with us for a long time, that understand the discounts, that trust us, are investing now. And so many people are saying, I have been dreaming about it for my whole life. So indeed, it is very inspiring. Because, our audience are dreamers, people that are inspired. And these are not pessimists. Because, everything related to the sky is beautiful, it is cool. This is achievement. So people want to touch it. And speaking about various webinars, so please sign up to our channels. So the webinar was on Tuesday, Thursday. Yes, we've decided to have the same rhythm of webinars. On Tuesday, we will have webinars for the newcomers, presentation of the project, general presentation, where we invite everyone who has just learned about the project. On Thursday, we will speak about technologies plus news, a specific stage of what has been done within this week, for example, without the presentation part. So please share the information about the project. Not even commercial information, just recommend to see this project. I'm sure that in 3 years we will have cool airships. And if a person is interested in investment, you can invite them to our webinar on Tuesday. And on Thursday, it's possible to see more detailed information. So I received a question whether today there will be some numbers described. Yes, we will describe the numbers. Okay, let's continue. Let's move to the presentation. At first, let's discuss why dirigibles are cool and where they are applied. Let's start with this. Okay, let's invite Fyodor. Okay, we're on air once again, and I would like to request your support on the chat once again. Give us likes, reposts, and in the chat devoted to pre-stat of airships. I don't know if there is information about this webinar there. Please double it there as well, so that people that got interested in the project would be able to see this broadcasting as well. And let's move to the essence, because there are quite a lot of questions. Fyodor Konstantinov is here with us, and he is already the manager of projects of the project. That's why this is the first source of the information that many of you would like to receive. So question number 1, could you please speak about airships once again? Your opinion, your impressions. Could you please share it? Why do you think that this is something that we should do? Yes, once again. Hello, everyone. I'm an expert from our airspace industry. I'm also an inventor and an engineer. And I have always been thinking about the sky, how it's possible to go up to the sky, travel in the sky, of course. There are helicopters and others. And, I have always been thinking about the matter of energy, how much fuel I need to spend, or what kind of engines I will need to use. And any person understands that airship is a solution for us, because it's possible to go to the sky and stay there for a long time for free. Our solar panels will be enough for electric motors to make you stay in some point. So speaking about transition to the sky, the only way is dirigibles. There are many questions. Why? In the past, they existed. After that, no. What is the difference between the future and the past of dirigibles? But the main message is why airships? Because they can go up for free without electric energy. Okay, it will be solar energy without fuel. I mean that it's possible to stay above the ground for a long time. It's possible to raise something heavy and stay there. So there are quite a lot of spheres of application, and these spheres are becoming wider. We will discuss it today. So let's move to that. When they speak about airships, many people think of something beautiful, so you can look from top, it's comfortable, but commercialization is not only about that. So what are the types of airships and where can they be applied? So, there are physical laws according to which the bigger this airship is, the more efficient it is, the faster it is, the more profitable it is. And when people design this airship, they want to add a bit more volume. And finally, they decide that they need to build a really huge sky yachts. And it's necessary to have lots of money for it. It's difficult to find an investor. This task is really ambitious and huge, and the engineering team is not ready to solve this task. And what have we managed to do? all Russian we actually have managed to convince our Russian team that we will move stepwise, starting from a small machine with cargo loading capacity up to 500 kilos. It will be unmanned airship, and the task of this airship is to move cargo, because in Moscow, St. Petersburg, and in other cities, there is a need of continuous monitoring. There are traffic jams, so it's also possible to monitor weather, the level of pollution, and others. And now we can see quite extensive implementation of unmanned drones, and you need to monitor these drones, where they came from, where they are going to. And when we speak about the city, if you understand that there are some utilities, so it can be quite difficult. When you look from the top, it's much easier to monitor. And these drones with load capacity up to 500 kilos can solve such tasks. The next drone is 2 tons. So the capacity is 2 tons, and the same tasks of monitoring and all the rest can be solved. The monitoring of industrial sites, commercial sites, military bases, and other things. And these 2 tasks will be solved. First of all, commercially, they are attractive from every side. There are customers for them. So people that produce this equipment that should be lifted and managed, they say that as soon as you build the first demo samples, we will take them and work with you. So it seems that these airships appeared 100 years ago, but 100 years ago it was not possible to use unmanned airship with a camera to stay above the city. But now there is such a need, and they will also transfer passengers. Yes, a flying yacht with 2-ton capacity. It will be produced and developed together with Aurus company. So this is a car manufacturer in Russia. They produce cars for the president and the industry based on NAMI Institute. And this first yachts will be produced with cooperation with them, and they will be responsible for the design, and the motor from Aurus has already been transformed to be used there. So this Aurus institution has already fulfilled quite a lot of work. They will take much work, and these first 2 yachts will be produced together with them. They will be manned with pilots, so it will be possible to ride them to see what it's like. And after that, they will become unmanned. So we produce and certify 2 of them, and the third one will be unmanned for commercial use. Because they will need to certify for a longer time, because that is about passenger transfer. Lots of permits are needed for it, and if we need to raise something on top of a city or control some area with the use of airship, it will be easier to receive the permit. So up to 2 tons, and mostly these are cargo airships, stratospheric airships. And what are the advantages compared with aircraft that can transport 10,000 tons as well? Well, after 2 tons, we have 10 tons. I mean that apart from itself, it can raise 10 tons, a cargo of 10 tons. We are planning to develop it in 4 forms. This is a touristic one, passenger one, cargo and passenger, and unmanned cargo airship. So what's the difference between touristic one and unmanned cargo? One of them can take 10 tons of people, food, water, entertainment facilities, and you don't need to take this flying hotel. If this is unmanned airship, it can lift 15 or 20 tons, and this 10-ton airship is compared with a helicopter. There is a helicopter Mi-8 that is most popular on the planet. I guess that there are 15,000 or 17,000 pieces of them, but I guess that 15,000 pieces have been produced. It can take 4 tons of cargo, transfer this cargo at a specific distance, and compared with it, a 10-ton airship, cargo airship that will fulfill the same tasks will be able to fly 5 times longer. The self-cost is cheaper than Mi-8, and it will take not 4 tons, but up to 15 tons, for example. So I mean that the same money for which Mi-8 is sold, we can get quite a good margin to sell these airships, but cargo will be 3 or 4 times bigger with the same at the same distance, and it is cheaper per 1 kilometer of flight, because a helicopter needs to create this force and it takes money, and for an airship only helium is needed. Propulsion force actually will be spent a bit more than in case of a helicopter, but still it's cheaper than a helicopter. So this 10-ton airship is the main working machine. We're planning to produce quite a lot of them because there is a huge market for them. And apart from this cargo option, I also mentioned a passenger option. It is quite comfortable. So a group of designers said that they should do business class or premium class, and we are fighting with them. We're saying that we need it to be more economic. So we will think about all options, but business and A class, these are 40 people that can travel with maximum comfort at a far distance, and the speed is different from that of an aircraft. But you know, in the Soviet Union, we had small and mid-sized aviation, so the speed will be like that, but it will be really comfortable. These are this passenger and cargo passenger option, 10-ton dirigible. You can take a team, you can take equipment, go to far north where there are no roads, substitute the team, and thus it can travel. And 10-ton tourism machine. This is a flying mini hotel, and it will be able to go from Moscow through St. Petersburg to the North Pole, so you can land there, walk along this piece of ice, and after that return back. So starting from 10-ton machine, these machines receive an opportunity to fly at a far distance, and if it is smaller, like 500 kilos, 2 tons, so 2-ton for a 2-ton airship, the maximum distance will be 1.5 thousand kilometers, and if you stay more than 2 days in the air, you actually will need to return because you will run out of water. And if this is unmanned machine, it can stay there longer. And if this is a 10-ton airship or more, it can actually travel around the world without landing. And there are other dirigibles of 20, 30, 40 tons, quite similar to 10-ton airships, but we do not need to produce them in a mass way compared with 10-ton machine, because there is a huge demand for 10-ton airship, and these airships will be steps to a big dirigible, and we have customers for it. So if there's 200 tons or more, the commercial load that should be transported. Why does airship win in terms of economics? Speaking about 10-ton dirigible, it is better than an aircraft or helicopter. And what goes next? 10-ton airship, if we take a big cargo, lift it from the manufacturer factory and transfer it where it is needed, no one else can fulfill this task apart from an airship. 200 tons, it's like a tanker. No, tanker is different. And how much can a tanker transport more? With a tanker, we need to build like 500 tons, 1,000 tons. But as I know, such projects exist, such as 300 tons, 500 tons. It is possible. Actually, Tsiolkovsky, the inventor of dirigibles, planned even more. So that's the matter of implementation. That's why when you start building something big, Sometimes you forget that actually it takes small steps to build a big road. That's why we're smoothly moving in this direction. And one of the tasks that should be solved in Russia is to transport rockets from manufacturing factory to Vostochny space station, and a dirigible can solve this task really fast, and it can save time and resources. There are lots of tasks for big airships. They can take big cargo, off-sized cargo. All of you have seen this video, the way they transport specific parts of power stations. They have to block whole towns to transport this big elements. There are quite a lot of people that have to calculate whether it will be possible to transport this big thing. But if this is an airship, it can lift this big cargo in air, and there will be no problem here. And for many people, it's difficult to understand why do we need airships, because everything works. Well, we understand that this kind of airship can lift something really heavy, so it is economically efficient, or it can stay in the sky for 1 month. Yes, but everyone imagines that this is an airship of 100 years ago, so they think of this piece of equipment. And what's the difference? I mean, specific technical solutions, materials, okay, maybe something else. Well, it will be better if engineers speak about it. All the engineers not want to speak about it because they're saying that these are their patents, their know-hows. So we will, when we finish this whole story, when we assemble the first dirigible, we will explain it to you. Yes, we actually substituted the design elements that provide for the stubbornness of this structure. So if you use 10 tones, for example, you need to have specific structure that will be able to carry it. The material of coverage has been changed. Helium, because in the past, hydrogen was used. Now helium is used, and these gases can penetrate through fabrics quite easily. And in the past, the technology that was used, they had to use intestines of cows, and use these intestines to make specific fabric. Gold was added there, and after that a sack was sewn, and hydrogen was poured inside. And what about the year 24? Do you think that we will still use cow's intestine? Of course not. There are quite a lot of technologies and materials, and we have automation thanks to computers. So in the past, all of that was managed mechanically. There were quite a lot of people that had to run around this airship to monitor specific meters, but now it is all different. And we have sensors. That's why it's much easier, and it will be possible to lift more cargo. Design elements became lighter, so it's possible to lift more cargo as well. And a computer is smarter than 20 people that can manage it manually. So it is smoother, it is safer, it is more cost efficient. And from the standpoint of design, as Sergey Viktorovich mentioned before, that just imagine what we had 100 years ago when we speak about cars and what kind of cars we have today. So that is the difference between contemporary airship and previous ones. And helium or hydrogen will be used, both helium and hydrogen, and helium is considered safer. I mean that people remember that dirigibles could burn, and I think that contemporary dirigibles can burn as well, but there is a solution to prevent it. Yes. Yes, because now we produce quite a lot of helium, and we will produce even more, and I don't think that prices will go up. Everything that will fly in the near future with people, cargo, pilot and cargo, all of that will fly with safe helium. So near ground use where people participate, only helium will be used there. But if this is unmanned airship, if this is an airship that goes to stratosphere, hydrogen will be used there. In stratosphere, hydrogen is not combustible because there is no oxygen there, and when we fly next to the ground, when we burn hydrogen, it can burn, but in stratosphere there is no oxygen, so it will not burn. So you've mentioned stratosphere. We have not discussed it today. Why do we need this kind of airship that can go there? What are the purposes of it? So, stratosphere. This is one of the most ambitious tasks that this team is faced with. We need to take this niche, and it is completely empty. People are able to fly in air in aircraft, helicopters, uh, air balloons, dirigibles. People are able to use rockets to send satellites into space, but between air and space, there is stratosphere. This niche has not been occupied at all, and it's difficult to evaluate the market. Uh, there are some fancy numbers there, and this niche is really important compared to with space. Satellites and rockets, an airship can take the same target load uh, that goes to the orbit, go above to the stratosphere, stay there for half a year or a year, change orientation the way it needs, because there is more sun there, so the efficiency of solar panels is higher, and it can work with electricity. And this function is similar to the function that satellites fulfilled, but when we speak about rockets, okay, they have learned to make these rockets return, but still, the structure is much more profitable because a rocket of this size sent a satellite of that size, so it flies there, something happens there, and you have to design a new one. You have to build another rocket and send it once again. And this is a stratosphere airship. So in case something happens, for example, you need to change fuel in satellite because various elements are used there. So in case something happened, all this thing goes down. This satellite was serviced, the equipment was substituted, the airship was maintained, so it's possible to use it multiple times. Because only Elon Musk can send rockets that can be used more than once. And now, after the fifth or the seventh launch, it is paid back. It's kind of rocket, but we're able to fulfill the same tasks 1,000 times cheaper than he fulfills that. And if it is cheaper and more efficient, it is more demanded. So the future belongs to the stratosphere devices, all the monitoring, connection, internet, monitoring of everything that flies. All of that will happen in stratosphere with these devices. So we understand that airships can be used in many areas. And it happened that for 50 years, no one worked with them, although 70 or 80 years ago they were quite relevant. But today, since the beginning of the 21st century, we can see this airship race once again in many countries in China and America. There are companies that produce airships. Some of them use specific variants. But anyway, it seems that everyone at the same time realized that the technology actually is ready to reborn these type of transport. So it's not like we have got together and decided to revive this transport. Many people decided to do that. Yes. 3 years ago, when we met Alexander Kirill, for the first time, I heard about airships from a reasonable person who said that it is possible, it can be made fast, the money is reasonable, these can be used in many spheres. I didn't believe him. I asked, oh, how come they existed in the past? And when we started to analyze, we realized that indeed in China we can see quite an extensive attempt to implement these devices. Last year, they tested a copy of our Russian EU-30 that was developed by the team with which we have started to work. So they already tested it. They conducted the first they're going to certify it and start mass production of it in China. There are 22 air institutions that are studying airships. There are quite a lot of commercial structures. So, Africa, there are huge machines. Sergey Brin is building these machines. They're building them in France and England. Chinese are building them, and the Africans, together with the French, are already using small drones. I don't remember what their mass is, but I can send this news to the chat. They assembled small drones and they can transfer medications. They can transport medications between cities and they get profit from it. The companies that produce medications and it's difficult to deliver them. So this is fast delivery and there are small airships that are already used for it. So it's an interesting sphere of application, delivery of some goods from marketplaces so that not a carrier has to move, or for example, delivery of food. You can use a drone or airship, but drone is more expensive. A drone cannot stay up in the air for a long time, and it's more difficult to manage it because it can fall. And this kind of airship is quite smooth. It's different, yes, and it can be used many times. So all analytical agencies in all countries provide reports according to which the economics need airships, not specific business, not specific tasks, but to provide for economically stable growth. And this is how proud I am today. We need to devise something new to provide for this growth. And this new thing is airships. That's why all countries are now building such institutions. Some of them use commercial part, and we also have a solution for the North Sea. We and the military need these airships as well. And before the new year, our government said that everyone should provide their solutions about the development of the industry. So it's a document, yes, it's an order. So if you have not seen it, you please note that there is such message from the government, but history repeats itself. So in the past, electric cars existed, and after that, internal combustion engine was domineering, and these electric cars were not used at all. And now we can see that new type of electric cars appeared and returned to the market, and the same thing is going on with the airships. They existed in the past. After that, aircraft appeared, and now our aircraft industry is stagnating all over the world. We can see it especially well in this country, and now we have airships. They are light and like an aircraft or a helicopter, this flying yacht, 10-ton dirigible can be fueled with gas. A pistol engine will be used there. It's not very complicated or critical. So if something happened with the airship, it can be fixed in every garage. Of course, avionics is a bit more complicated, but as a whole, taking into account the current level of development of science and technology, all of that have been computerized. And in the past, there was a complicated system, but now it can be used with a computer, so you can connect it online and it works. And that is the difference. Look here, so initially, you met Alexander Kidinin and his team, and after that, you met quite a lot of other developers that are involved in it. You engaged people not from the industry, but as engineers and constructors. So once again, could you please speak about this team that will create this project from the technical standpoint? Who are they? What are the achievements in the sphere of dirigibles as well? What is this team like? Of course, Alexander Nikolaevich is the main person in this country, person that developed airships, and he created 4 such airships. He flew on them. He used air states. He made quite a lot of air states. So an airship is something that can be managed, and air state is this balloon from the dirigible that goes up. It can hold some load and be responsible for intelligence, for example. And he produced these devices. And this person tried to create an industry. So he agreed with everyone, but somehow he did not manage to do that. And apart from him, there were at least 2 or 3 teams that were also working in the sphere. This is a core company that developed this kind of airship with the label AU. They are produced dirigibles civilian produced for airships. So in the contemporary Russia, there are producers and developers of airships. They are in different teams, but they know each other. They are friends because you can count them with your fingers. And we have united all of them in one team. It was quite difficult. It took quite a lot of time and efforts, but all of them are ready to be united and to start working together as a single team. What are these people like? These are general designers that have already done that. These are mechanics that did all of that technologies. These are pilots that have already used them. These are developers who are really interested in all of this work. They did it in the past, they can do it once again, and we are the managers. So we united this team. I mean that 1 week ago, quite many of them attended our online event, online and offline event. Yes, Alexander brought 6 people, and this is 10% of the main team that will do that. And for this main team, we will hire linear engineers, people that will make calculations, that will be responsible for dynamics and others. And I would also like to emphasize that quite frequently we speak about them, but not everyone was seen. Of course, we do not want to hide them. You just need to understand that these people are not public. They are engineers, they're developers, but of course, they are ready to be seen. They're ready to work with the audience. And we will make you meet all of them. And we will have our webinars on Thursdays. So we will try to invite more engineers there. We will invite various participants of the team, ask them questions so that you will understand that they are real professionals. Yes, and we will meet them for sure. And what I would like to point out, these people solve tasks. Kirin, for example, built 4 airships. These people built their dirigibles as well. And it was the time of the 90s, the year 2000. What was happening in the country. The financing was limited. The military set the task. So this is the money. These are the time frames, and you need to build something that will fly with this money. So that it happens that people do not listen to engineers, do not take into account their solutions. So people do something opposite to their recommendations, and in spite of these limited conditions, still they managed to implement and sell these devices. So there are no doubts that they will be able to build them, and the world has not seen that before. And okay, I understand about the team, and I guess that now I would like to understand what this team will develop. Could you please switch on the presentation? Now I will show the list of assets that will be developed within the project, and after that we will see that in more details. We will see the numbers. So let's move to the assets. So design bureau is established, land is purchased, 2 airlinks are built there, a long production is built there, the school of pilots and engineers is established, and we start working at other business projects at once. Am I right? Or probably you can comment on it. So it's like a factory, or well, it's mostly related to production, but that the first step is that we establish design bureau, we rent premises, we don't need to build anything. You can do it even tomorrow, and it has been done. So we rent premises, we place engineers there, or make departments. So there is general designer, and their deputy, they have their teams, and there is a team that is responsible for calculations, linear engineers, and each of them uses this thing. This is the classical design bureau. It has worked like that since Soviet Union times, and they start working. And they use wide cooperation. So there is general engineer Alexander Kirillin, chief engineer for a specific area, has specific design department, and together with linear engineers, they start curating industrial institutions such as MAI and NAMI and others. So other abbreviations. Various state corporations actually and institutions. Airship is a very complicated device, just like an aircraft or a helicopter. There are quite a lot of nodes there, a lot of aggregations that should be joined together. So we need to build factories but we know building factories that produce all these parts is not profitable. Why do we need to invest money there? But actually, we don't need to do this because we have factories producing helicopters, cars, and aircraft, and we need to use cooperation. And for this purpose, we need to have a manager that will tell people what to do. So this design bureau, there will be several managers there. They will have their departments, and each of them will create airships with the existing industrial capacities and existing research. And this is what design bureau will do. Speaking about land, well, everyone will be developing airships, creating templates, so of real size templates where it will be possible to enter. We will have terms of reference, specifications, a drawing, and for this task, airlinks will be designed. Airlink. This is a place where people that created motor, gondola, air systems, valves, various structures, so all of them should bring these parts into Allen and assemble this airship using the various components. So actually, Allen is an assembly shop floor and a garage where it is stored and serviced. And while everyone is developing airship, two airlinks are designed and you need to have space to build them. And this task is not very simple. When you start it from scratch, for example, take a land somewhere, most likely this will be agricultural land, so we need to change it so that it becomes industrial, and after that aviation needs bring road electricity there. It is quite expensive, it takes a lot of time, but this option is not desirable for us. It's not our priority. And now we receive quite a lot of offers and phone calls from various air cities. So they call us, they say, we have an air city, we have the necessary premises, necessary spaces for you. It is in the general plan of the city, indicated as air city, so you can fly there, it is allowed, and this option is the best. And that is for free, right? Partnership. Well, there are lots of variants there. Some people say that you can rent it, others say you can take it for free, you can build it, but I'd also want to take part in your project. So different people have different interests. This is our first priority option. And there is an option of the second priority, for example, to buy the ready land with all the permits so that it becomes ours. But it requires a lot of money. And why do we need it if we can have partnership with someone with adequate conditions, of course? There are quite a lot of proposals, and I guess that we will select the one that is suitable for us in terms of land, I mean. And in this land, we start building two airlinks for 10-ton dirigible and a flying yacht. Flying yacht, Alexander Kirillin mentioned that. So why old dirigibles are worse than contemporary ones? And he asked, did you see how these old dirigibles were taken out from an airlink? There were quite a lot of people that had to move it, but this is past century, and he said, I will build airships that will be able to land on the roof of a building in the city center. This task is quite ambitious, and many people can understand that when you want to locate an airship or an helicopter above some point and connect very smoothly. This is complicated, and in the first airlink for the flying yacht, all of that will already be implemented and demonstrated, and it will be a demo option. So we will be able to come there with the customers, go on top of the roof, go to the dirigible, and make fly around the city. And this is an island where they will be produced. The second island is for 10-ton dirigibles. It is also placed on land. And this is near ground use, and it's considered to be the most vulnerable spot of all these airships. And Alexander Nikolaevich will solve it. It will be demonstrated. That is about 2 L-links. The factory. What is created with the investors' money? Alexander Nikolaevich and the team of engineers that will implement this project, that are already implementing this project, have quite a lot of critically important technologies that we do not want to provide for extensive cooperation. I mean, why do we need to expose everything? In that case, they will be able to repeat it, and they still have a number of technologies and nodes that will be produced. These are quite small stories, but this is something that we do not need to share. For example, materials for the sacks filled with gas, the technology of welding, and other things. And for this purpose, small production sites will be created, so you don't need to build huge factories starting with foundation. No, it's enough to use a hangar, or to build a hangar, to rent a hangar, and there are places. So there's the Air City, and we have 2,000 square meters. You can use them, and we can have hangar there. So it's not a factory that we'll need to build. That this is a technological process that we need to live for ourselves, but it requires space to be arranged. So to arrange production for producing some critically important nodes or some elements that we do not want to expose so that people will not copy it. Yes, you're right. School of Pilots is really important. I mean that at first we need to prepare the person that will train pilots, technicians, and other personnel. It's like when you come to Sheremetyevo, Vnukovo, or any other airport, you can see that there is quite a lot of personnel there, and everything works really smoothly from the moment you come there to the moment they load the luggage, fuel the car, process it, and quite a lot of personnel should fulfill their obligations quite smoothly so that all this machine could work. And for dirigibles, we do not need this heavy infrastructure that is required for aircraft, for example, but still, we need to have trained personnel, quite a lot of them. So we need them, and the business needs them as well. For example, business comes and says, I need to solve this and that task with your dirigible. Could you please provide me the dirigible, the infrastructure, and the personnel? So we need to create such people, and that is why we will need to have a school. And I do not think that much time will pass when we will need to open departments of airships and aviation institutions. And when was this department closed? Several years ago, Alexander Kirillin was in Mai. He's still in Mai. He has his room there. But speaking about training students, for many years it has not existed. Maybe it existed in the past, but someone said that it stopped to exist recently, this kind of department. And he is a professor. So indeed, he has an opportunity to return these departments. Yes, normally a department is returned when there is a need of such experts. And when we see a new economic driver, of course, we need such experts. And let's look at the scheme once again. I'd like to discuss the numbers now. So everything that Fyodor said, we announced it already. So this amount of $100 million financing, this is the total volume of investment. So $100 million total amount of investment taken into account our partners' money, marketing costs, and other things that we will need to raise the necessary amount. The time of implementation is from 3 to 5 years, and the company's capitalization is from $1 billion. So why? From $1 million. And why do we see this number? Once again, let's look at the scheme. I will explain it in simple words and you will add something. So the scheme, we established Design Bureau. As you said, this is a team of people that will develop flying vehicles. And within the current project, these are 2 flying vehicles, 2-ton airship and 10-ton airship. Actually, today you already spoke a lot about them, where they can be used, they can be manned and unmanned. Yes, but to apply them, first of all, we need to build them, at least 2 pieces of each of them, to make all the necessary tests, to receive certificates for their batch production. That's why within the first 3 years, 3 to 5 years, 4 such dirigibles will be built, 2 of this type and 2 of that type. So it means that they will be take test. Well, yes, these will be samples, and after that, when the certificate is received, it's possible to create its copies, and you can use this sample officially. You can sell it, you can use it commercially. So our goal in 3 years, we want to fly at a conference by an airship, and this goal is realistic, right? Or we can have a draw for one of them. I cannot promise it on everyone. Why not? I think that it will be really interesting. Okay, land that we mentioned. So we hope that probably we can get this land for free in partnership. Probably some people are thinking of it. Who can give you this land for free? But there is a good example, Sovelmars. They have managed to do that in the special economic zone, and they followed this way. Probably we will also understand here that this is quite reasonable. Probably it will be a bit different, but it is possible. Well, judging by the number of offers, there is such an option that we can ask them to pay money if we select them, because everyone understands that when the first dirigible starts to fly from their platform, it will attract quite a lot of tourists. Sure, when we speak about capitalization, it's possible to mathematically calculate financial models based on the profit of a company, but here there is wow effect. I mean that as soon as the first airship flies, this project enters a new stage from the standpoint of marketing and popularization, and people that understand it now are saying, please just take me with you. Okay, returning to the scheme. So there is land, and by the way, I can see it. Unfortunately, it is not visible on the slides that you can see. The broadcasting, and there is gray contour there, but I hope it will be understandable. So dirigibles are within a design bureau. After that, we see land, followed by airlinks, and after that, you can see the next element. This is the school and production. And this is the minimum basis of what we plan to develop with $100 million and 3 to 5 years. And answering to the question why this company should cost at least $1 billion, judging by the most banal standard calculation that we take like 3 annual profits of this company if it has 2 airlinks and 2 certified devices. And if we take airlinks, how many units per year can be produced? and we produce airlinks for a flying yacht from 12 flying vehicles per year, or one can be produced per month. Airlinks for 10-ton machine up to 25 per one airlink. And answering the question, so according to our calculation, that is 1 billion, but we're not planning to do only this, because we understand that as soon as we have a team, as soon as we see a wave in the world of airships, there are already quite a lot of preliminary customers that are ready to buy, that would like to have their own types of airships of special purpose. That's why we're quite confident. Well, we have our preliminary agreements and we need to post them on our website so that you will understand that it's not like we would like to work with them. It actually means that they would like to work with a company that can produce dirigible. So, when we work with them, this is an additional asset, additional money that the company will make. And it will also make money producing own airships. So I guess that there will be a queue of customers after in all institutions and enterprises. Our order will be visible. So here we launch the development of this and that, production of this and that. We have a design bureau that manages all of that, that observes all of that, and the customer can see that we're quite serious. And of course, while now we are at the start, while we are not as strong as SpaceX, now want to cooperate with us. So as soon as we have a basis for a serious discussion, they will come. And this is minimum execution, the fundamental one, what we need to create such a company and start making money. But of course, no one is going to make money and do nothing. We want to develop the business. We have plans for 25 years in future. And we have an understanding that what we need for the next 10 years, that's why we know what the company will look like in the next 10 years. And this is not included in $100 million. So there are quite a lot of airlinks here. This is something that is planned to be done. And the question is how it will be done. So it can be done with our own profit. It can be done with the money of a big investor that will say, I need a 20-ton dirigible and this and that. And of course, when this order is fulfilled, the company will make money, investors will make money. And there is another variant that theoretically, for specific business projects, we can propose it to private investors. So 40-ton dirigible that can raise this weight. So it means that with $100 million taken into account referral or bonuses, we develop a basic function in the business cell that is not only self-sufficient, but also thanks to the infrastructure, it is able to make money, to be extended, to pay dividends, to take big customers, to be extended even faster, to make big money. And this mother company is established with crowd investing. So when we attract a big customer, a big investor, it is already supposed that a person in crowd investing will get their benefits from it, of course. And it's important that the company is planning to invest actively in its own development. That's why new airship projects will appear. I mean, that probably we will not development need new investments here, but the investors that are investing now will make even more money because the company will produce new types of airships for new eras and it will make more and more money. And, I can feel it. Uh, So everyone is asking us, please show the business plan, please show the numbers. Yes, guys, speaking about business plans, numbers, we have seen them. Together with Alexander, I worked on them, and indeed the forecasts are really optimistic, taking into account these two pieces, this yacht and 10-ton dirigible. It's already possible to receive a real profit thanks to them. And Alexander Nikolaevich is saying that we should not be concerned because we will be the first in the world. And indeed, he's saying that this is turnover that Gazprom has, Sberbank has, without taking into account stratosphere. And with stratosphere, well, we are not showing this business plan because it requires detailed elaboration and, well, now I can go to different rooms so that I wouldn't be beaten and send you all the drawings of business plans. They're not secrets. You can start in them. The numbers are ambitious, but we have selected this strategy. You can like it or dislike it, and we will understand it. So now in the design bureau, we will get together with all the engineers, and within a few months, we will develop detailed business processes with detailed roadmaps. We will agree upon them, and after that, we will show them to you so that we will avoid a situation where now we have one business plan and in 3 months, something else was devised. Why do we need it? Just like Sergey Viktorovich is saying, this is pre-start. We are showing you the way it could be. So let's be patient. Well, I don't know. Probably I will send you the business plans that I have tomorrow. Okay, this comment is good, and that is why we're discussing it. This is pre-start. I mean that today we are not presenting the project. Today we're presenting the final stage of its preparation. And at the first stage, we will already show you the business plan and everything else that is interested for more meticulous investors that want to see all these numbers. And I hope anyway that when you see the scheme in your mind, you will already have a picture of what is being developed. And speaking about profit, I don't know, probably you know that in Germany there is a company, Zeppelin, and how many airships do they have? Well, now I know that two of them are used, and every 10 years they sell one dirigible to the Americans, and so they use two airships and sell one airship once per 5 years, and actually they feel quite far. You've seen it. Well, yes, I've read it somewhere on the web that their profit is like 100 million euro. I don't know, within a year. So these are non-touristic dirigibles, and if you can make this touristic dirigibles, and if you can transport tourists and make such money, that it's quite profitable. And in our case, it's even more profitable when we speak about monitoring of cities, industrial and military sites with unmanned dirigibles of 500 kilos and 2 tons will actually give us dozens times more money than this German company makes. And when we speak about 10-ton airships and stratosphere airships, we will be closer to Elon Musk. Maybe even we will be above Elon Musk. When we speak about stratosphere dirigibles, this is an airspace company. You're right. And when I talked to Alexander Nikolaevich, probably you've seen that on Aerostatica website, you can see that the ceiling of height for a dirigible is 2.5 kilometers. It's not because this airship cannot go higher, it's because the organization of space where a person is will require more materials. The development is more complicated. There are issues with oxygen pressure. You need to maintain pressure and oxygen the continuous level, and this is a bit different type of machine that is a bit more complicated. But when I talk to people about stratosphere, they say if you raise this device to the stratosphere and we will be able to be inside it, this will be really cool. I agree, Alexander. We need to build it, and it's possible to do that. So actually, there are several startups that said that they would develop stratosphere hotels. So there will be a balloon with a capsule that will go to stratosphere. You will stay there for some time, and after that, go down. That is beautiful. That is good. We can do it the same manner, but it's not a balloon, a full-fledged airship that can not only go up, but it can also travel. It can be managed. And it is also possible. And what is the capitalization of a company that has um, an ability to solve various technical issues at the level of the land, logistic issue, passenger issues that provides for connection in stratosphere and be able to raise people in stratosphere? What do you think about it? I guess that the capitalization will be really high. It's difficult even to calculate it. Well, I just know um, I know about capitalization, what it is like. I just know it's not reasonable to calculate profits because there are quite a lot of companies that cost 10, 20, 40 annual profits. And if you think of it, can you buy a business that will be paid back within 40 years? Or Uber that operates at a loss, but people do buy them because they believe that shares will cost more. They believe that the company will develop, and they believe that today it is expensive, but in 10 years it will be normal. It will be a good investment. And when there is such a company that does not only generate profit, but this company is also very bright, this effect that people will see it, they will fall in love with it. They will say, yes, indeed, I want to buy this company. You will ask, how can you invest like that? Actually, and everyone invests like that. And there are even experienced investors that invest because they like something. They say, well, when you say this is an airship, the chances that it will be bought are quite big indeed. People vote with their money for the future they want to see, and there are some sly people that want to provide for their future, have learned how to manage people. They're saying this is what will happen in the future, and this will not happen. So, if there are skeptical people that think that we will not succeed, well, I don't know. Just think of the year 17 when Duyunov Motors project started. How many skeptical people we had? Some people said, you are just stealing money. You will not buy the equipment. You will not receive the land. You will not start construction. But finally, they were wrong. And now people come and they're really impressed. Is it true that all of this was done with private investments? And this situation will be very similar. And I'm sure that there are always such people that watch the webinar. They think, oh, it's cool. Well, probably they just like something and they say, okay, I can do it later. They come in a year. This is the 10th or the 5th stage, and they say, oh, where was I? They will write to the technical support, please develop a campaign for us. Other investors will say, no, you should not give them shares. So that is the way it looks like. So if we return to the current project, Sovelmash, many people have a question, will Sladanka be used at dirigibles? What kind of motors will be used in dirigibles? I can explain it. In all types of machines, we will use not combined callings, of course, but combined types of installations, both gas motor and electric motor. And electric motor will be selected in the market. The best in the market will be selected. And today we visited this exhibition, Army 2024. Dmitry Duyunov's engines are used on drones, and on all other drones, Chinese magnetic engines are used. And what about dirigibles? Sergey talked to Dmitry Alexandrovich, asked him, can we use your motors on our airships? And Dmitry said, give us specification, we will solve it. And we do not see any obstacle for it. So if the technical task is prepared, this task will be solved. And do you think that we want to have two projects developing in synergy? Of course we do. And I hope that this was the answer. Well, yes, so we will cooperate. And quite frequently it is asked. Yes, and there is one more scheme. So probably can comment on it. Yeah, second comment on it. Here in lines, you can see the prospects for the next 10 years. So there are customers for the development of airships. They pay for the development, and it means that this design bureau already makes money and dividends can be paid. And I can say that it is not about the next 5 to 10 years. It can happen within a few years, even within 1 year. And as I said, as soon as all serious industrial institutions and enterprises receive their tasks, they start to work in big, the customer can understand that the work has started and they will come. And customers 3 and 4, that is about collection of preliminary orders for a serial, for a batch. So we prepare an opportunity of producing a batch, and after that we receive preliminary orders. We receive preliminary order for a specific number of airships, taking into account our profit. We produced these airships and we distributed the profit. So speaking about due dates, actually, after that, we'll show you the roadmap. But as Pavel said, in 3 years, we will be able to fly with our first airship, and in 4 years, we can start batch production. Probably you can show it, speaking about the roadmap. What are the steps of the project? Well, you can see quite detailed information. Well, you can share it with fewer details. Well, what can I say? Indeed, you can see everything. At first, active developments are launched. This is development for the airships themselves, development of airlinks, working with administrations to get various permits, and it is followed by preparing a template. So probably you've seen that the first template is made of clay or something else. They check the design, and after that there is the next template, and all of that will be produced. Separate knots will be produced, specific aggregations will be tested on land, and all this work with development, producing templates, testing the nodes of one device will be done. An airlink will be built for it, and when small airlink's construction is finished, big airlink will be built. And by this time, when this airship is assembled, the developers develop 10-ton airship, and when it is assembled, when it raises up in the air, the next airship is transferred to the airlink and it is assembled. And actually, we don't need to stop. And when this one is being assembled, we need to develop 20-ton airship, after that 40-ton airship, and when this small airlink was built, we start building the mid-size one, and after that we built another one. And we remember that most likely we will not have this idle time. So it's like 1 to 3, and after that there is nothing. No, why do we need it? We do not want to have this empty space. And we will look at the long run to have continuous work. So we have this basic cell, and we will develop within this basic cell. And we need to remember that we develop stepwise. We build all these machines with all these airlinks, and between approximately 1 year will pass between every airship. So in 3.5 years, this yacht can fly. After that, is certified in 4 years. It means that 10-ton airship can fly in 4.5 years, followed by another airship in 5.5 years, and a stratosphere airship will be launched in will be prepared actually, and in 7 years we will prepare batch production for it. So it means that 7 years after today we will be in stratosphere officially, and this is serious. So in 3 years, we see the launch of the first dirigible, and in 7 years, well, yes, that is most serious. And speaking about profit, in 3 years, the first one can fly. In 4 years, it has already been certified. It is ready for a batch of production. So payment of dividends will start in 4 years after the first device, but as I already mentioned, all of that can happen even before, when in 2 years after the launch of the project, a big customer comes and says, I can see that indeed you are serious, you work a lot, so I place an order for production, and the first dividends can be paid before the first dirigible will fly. This scenario is not excluded either. And probably there are some third-party works that are, if some company says, could you please make calculations for an aircraft or a helicopter, probably it's also possible to use the capacities of design bureau, but it's better not to be defocused. Because, there are such companies that do not finish one task and start another. So let's be focused on dirigibles. So now we work with dirigibles only.
Ну, для него мы построим дирижабль. Ни самолет, ни вертолет. Да, мы можем ему помочь расчеты произвести.
So we can help with calculations to various people. Sergey Brin, before he started implementing his dirigible, he actually advised this engineering team. But this story is quite similar to Elon Musk. When Elon Musk came to Russia, he wanted to buy a rocket. He didn't find a person he can pay because this was managed by the government. It was decentralized so much that there is no owner of a rocket. They know why the rockets are made, where they go, where they fly from, but no one can make a decision to sell it because it is all state-owned. And regarding dirigibles, it's quite simple. Brin wanted to have these materials, these sacks that are filled with gas. They wanted to order various elements of power structure, but he didn't find a person with whom he could agree. So the engineer said, okay, we can do that, but I work here, this person works there, this person works in a different institution, and this is Rosneft top manager. And how can we do that? So they just didn't manage to agree, and I think that Brin will come more than once. We will help him fulfill his dream. Sergey Brin is co-owner of Google that is building his dirigible company as well, and he's trying to launch them. So speaking about, we have discussed the roadmap, and I think that now it is more understandable how it will all develop. We will have various options, super detailed, less detailed, so that it will be understandable. Well, yes, we will show money at every stage. We will have no secret. You can keep it a secret when there are 1,000 devices in the market, but when the market is empty. So in this project, I guess, we will see more transparency, more transparent numbers. I mean that even now it is planned to plan the specific number of shares, specific number of stocks. So the stages will be changed depending on the amount of raised investments. We will discuss it now as well. And speaking about these numbers, shares and stocks, let's look at the scheme that you probably saw in our first presentation. This is a newly developed company, Nova, that will implement the project, and it is divided half and half. 49% will belong to SOLARGROUP, or private investors that will support the project. Half of the company belongs to them, and 50% is the team implementing the project. So we said that we will see what kind of companies these are, Kivilin and various other companies that will help, and Auros goes there as well. And many others. There will be small shares there. When we sign all agreements, we will speak about this part, and everyone will see all the participants of the process. And although initially it will be a limited liability company, now we think that this is a unicorn company that has stepped over the bar of $1 billion, and as a whole, this company can generate any number of stocks. But if the cost of the company is $1 billion, we can make 1 billion shares, so that one share costs $1, and judging by this, one half of this share is 500 million, well, a bit less, 49%. We can produce not 1 billion, but 1 million and something, 1 billion something more, so that we would have 500 million shares to be evenly distributed between investors in future. Actually, this scheme is very similar to what we have today. The only difference is that these will be different legal entities with different licenses, different types of agreements. But as a proposal for investors, just for your understanding, it will be really similar. Now, this is a limited liability company, and we do not need to issue shares. Now we can buy investment shares of SOLARGROUP. Unlike the previous project, we will know for sure the number of shares so that you by yourself will be able to calculate your future dividends, the share in the you will share in the company, and all other things to understand whether this is interesting for you or not. So it will be more transparent. Summing up, this is 1 billion stocks. One half of them, 500 million stocks, will be divided between investors, and 50 billion shares is planned to be sold to SOLARGROUP company, and after that you can exchange your shares to the stock when the financing is ended, and you can use various methods. For example, Moscow Stock Exchange pre-IPO functionality, IPO, and thus you as an investor will be able to exit. And we are talking to various technological companies that are raising investments. I do not want to give you their names, but one of the companies with which we talk, the founders, the team, now pre-IPO was started. The experience is really interesting. Now we're talking to them about it. We're talking to the people that helped them, and the representatives of Moscow Stock Exchange as well. It will be really useful for us so that we will be able to do that correctly from the very beginning. And of course, within Duyunov Motors project, now we will have even more experience and understanding how to do everything right. Let me comment on it. Indeed, the guys did a great job. So, they were faced with a problem when only experienced, qualified investors can buy, and they said, guys, why is it the case? Well, everyone wants to buy, but not many people can do that. So this is our scheme. What it looks, I guess that our scheme looks more attractive. Indeed, the financing scheme that we have today, well, we have such a proposal. We're saying that every person can invest, every person can take part in establishing the company. And one of the reasons why we're doing that through Moscow Stock Exchange is that it looks differently there. Indeed, there are only qualified investors that can do it. There are specific limitations there. Could you please return to the previous slide? So this is an analog of Sovelmash. You are well aware of this scheme, and Alexander Nikolaevich commented it and said the following. Well, I don't remember the exact numbers, but for you to understand, well, exact numbers not needed there. In air industry, when we speak about the development, we have 10 rubles per 1 ruble of investment production, or 100 rubles per 1 ruble, they use 1,000 rubles per 1 ruble. And this Nova company, this is a production company and an operational company, and he's saying, guys, we should not stop here. Establish lots of operational companies. There can be a company responsible for logistics, cargo operations in one country, in another country, third country. Let these companies sell dirigibles here or there. You can also be responsible for operations. There are lots of money. There's lots of money there. And if you give me at least several percent, I will be happy. So 49% of production company and plus all the operational company, that is quite a lot. That is what I wanted to mention. This is quite a lot, a big part of future profit. Well, there will also be a company responsible for international business, Nova Global there, and other agents, financial agents that act at the order of SOLARGROUP in various jurisdictions. But these are the first presentations, and we want to show you the essence, and of course we will share all the information with you. So Alexander said, why are you afraid? You can share this information with the investors. How much will I get if I own 1% of this number? How much will I get in 5 years? And he has business plan. He can calculate. He says, okay, if we do this and that, then 1% brings this amount of money. He says that the numbers will be even bigger than in the plan, and very soon we'll have a webinar with him. So he can calculate every percentage point, how much profit you will get for every percent. So you can wait for him, ask him questions, and he will share all this information with you. As it was already mentioned, on Thursdays, we will conduct technological webinars. We will invite Kivilian and other developers there. And speaking about numbers and how the project will be financed, it's important that these financial stages and implementation stages are divided. So we will understand that sometimes they will overlap, but as a whole, the financing stages will be strictly connected to the amount of the funds that we raise. So we know how much money we will make at every stage. So now this is $2.5 million at pre-start, $2.5 million at the first stage, and after that, at each stage, we will get $5 million. And as Sergey Semyonov already mentioned today, most likely this $2.5 million that we're planning to raise at pre-launch current stage will be decreased down to $1 million. Indeed, if this decision is made, and officially there will be news about it, I think that in the near future, financing can end in the next few weeks, because this is pre-start stage. I mean, if this project is really interesting for you, and yeah, you can see the scale, the way the discount will go down, the share will get more expensive. The difference between the current pre-start stage and the first stage is 2 times. I mean, that now the conditions are twice more profitable than at the first stage. That is why we can change things now. For example, it was 2.5 million, now it is 1 million. Several times we changed the conditions of marketing plan for the new project for partners. I guess that Sergey Shevchenko can speak about it in details as well, what the final conditions are, because this is a pre-launch stage. But if in spite of it you invest, you pay back these potential risks and issues that can appear. And in future, the discount will go down by 10%. There are 20 stages together with the pre-launch stage that is 21 stage. And speaking about the stages that the project will follow, now we've checked the roadmap, further commented on it, and for sure we will present it in such a format that you will understand what happens when. And some processes require time. That's true. Some processes require money until, well, indeed, for example, when we speak about cement, it could not be fixed faster than a specific time. So that is why we are linked to numbers, not specific events. Sergey Semyonov already commented on it. You can see the slide with the current financial results. We have started to work really actively, and it cannot be compared with the results that we had in the beginning of Duyunov Motors project and other projects, because the start position is very different. Now more than 500,000 participants have been signed up in our personal account. Of course, they are observing us, and we have 500 investors. So, this is a screenshot made in the morning. This is day 6. When we have an opportunity to buy a package. So within 5 days, 100 investors per day come to us, and together with installments, approximately $2 million have been invested. We can see division by countries, so the statistics is quite detailed, and there is a link. You can enter it, and in online mode you can monitor the way people join the project, and there is no information. I mean that there is a video now presentation, and people are already investing. I guess because they do not want to miss an opportunity in terms of discount. But actually, many of our partners are engaged actively now, and we will discuss it in more details now. And I guess that, well, I guess that we have already shared everything. Probably further, you would like to add something as a whole about the development of the project, the things that will be developed, or in principle, we've already provided the basic information. Well, we have not posted business plans, so I guess that we have not provided basic information to the investors, but at least we know the picture, what we will do. Well, we have some general understanding. I've seen some questions on the chat about construction of islands when we convey dividends. Well, where you look at technical questions, about dividends, I can answer that a bit later. About islands, how will islands be built? In this country, there is a company that will be responsible for designing an island. So it's responsible for design in the air industry. And in contemporary Russia, other people have built islands already. They are not suitable for us. And there is a company that is specialized on this sphere. They will develop it, and they have a number of key aspects that one customer can fulfill if they have the technology, but in general, this is any construction company plus guys that are responsible for this key technology and plus project from the company that did it before. They will design it and we will build it with additional competences. And who will be responsible for the project implementation? Is there one person? And where will the design bureau be located? According to preliminary agreement from the 1st of September, we are renting premises in Krylotska Business Center. We will conduct a conference there on the 1st of October. In the office, there will be a big hall there. So there's a big hall there. We will get together. We will meet all the participants of the process. Please come. And I guess that we can announce conditions in advance for partners and investors, because I guess that there will be quite a lot of people that will want to come. And will actually there be enough space for several hundreds people? Well, there is 100 square meters, and the conference hall, there are only 100 meters, and I don't know how many people can fit. The business will be, where will the business be built? Well, recently in Russia, a special economic zone for aviation industry was launched. You can Google it. Its main location is Ryazan, and there are several locations closer to Moscow. It is very young, so we need to start working with it. Probably we will be transferred there to get all the bonuses of a special economic zone. And now Nova is registered in Krylotska Business Center, so this is the legal address, and there will be a team there, and we will check if the special economic zone is suitable for us. Then yes. So you are like 150 years late. Okay. And legal entities will be co-investors, or will you admit them for fast financing of the project? Well, will legal entities be co-investors? Okay, we're building the legal scheme in such a manner that the whole mother company that is financed by crowd mechanism would be completely protected from the entry of big investors, of course. We are happy to work with big investors, but only when all this structure is stable and we understand that we can painlessly let big investor come take big money from them, and our crowd investors are protected. Probably we will make cash outs. It's all been prepared now, and in the near future we'll finish it and show it. Is it possible to conduct a project of air generator with Slavyanka callings? It is possible. There was a good Russian film about future science fiction, time travel, and they also showed these air states with a central pole where there was a screw that was generating electricity. So people are thinking about it. Why do we need to build the structure that would hold the fan if the fan can be in the air? This is one type. And the second type of electric generation is when we are in stratosphere, we calculate the scale of this device and taking into account contemporary quotient, useful quotient of solar panels. These are megawatts. How can you deliver this megawatts to the ground? That's a question. But as a solar station, the stratospheric device does not require energy. It can generate energy. So energy will be there. It will be generated just like wind power station solar panels. So this task can be solved. And it is planned to build dirigibles with the capacity of 200 tons and above. So the government has such plans up to 300 tons. The Minister of Defense has a plan of developing such dirigibles as well. And for Africa exploration, the government requires dirigibles of up to 300 tons. There are such plans, and step by step, we will be closer to fulfillment of these orders. I guess that we will be the first help. If you help the Brin, he will conquer the industry. Probably we will conquer Brin. Why don't you produce dirigibles? Why don't people produce dirigibles? Because it's difficult to produce them. Emergencies can happen, especially if this dirigible is big. No, it's not like that. The probability of a crash is similar everywhere when we speak about aircraft or car, no matter. So what happens with a helicopter when something breaks down? It falls. What happens to an aircraft? It falls. And an airship will fall as well. Probably it will fall a bit slower. And it's funny, but people think that when an airship flies, it is so big, after that a bird crashes into it and it explodes. Well, most likely this airship managed to fly where it needed to fly. There was no panic, it parked, everything was fixed, and it can continue operation. Okay, it's too fast. Sergey Semyonov gave quite a good analogy. A helicopter can fall fast, an aircraft can fall fast, and if this is a ship and there is a hole there, with this hole, this ship can continue sailing. It does not drown. Very slowly it can sail, and the same is true about dirigible. I don't know, even if half of the sections has been damaged, still this dirigible can continue flying. And contemporary systems of automation and other things, contemporary sensors, artificial intelligence. Thanks to all of that, this airship cannot crash. Even without such systems, the guys that developed EU-30 shared this story. So there is a dirigible, there were screws there, they were completely damaged. And one side was damaged, the other was not, because this hole was not throughput. So they saw that the screw was damaged. They substituted this screw, they flew to the island, they parked there, and in the morning they saw that some air left the balloon. So even in case of this hole, we can see that the volume is quite big, that there was difference of pressure, and only on the second day they noticed that there was such a hole. Well, speaking about crashes, all of that is related to the difficulties of near-ground operation, how to be stable above some point, how to land, and the main know-hows and patents of Alexander are related to near-ground operation and safety. We will share all this information and show all of that, and for sure we'll explain it. Why did airships die? This is a rhetoric question. It just happened. They died to fly again in future. I liked this comparison with electric cars. People could ask, why did you decide to revive electric cars? People perceive this electric cars as something new, although actually they exist in the past, and they lost compared with internal combustion engine. But after that, technologies changed. And now we can use electric cars again. They are efficient again. Well, indeed. The whole world is building them. So Amazon patented them. Brin is planning that these Google servers will also be somewhere in the air with the use of dirigibles. So everyone is saying that it will exist, and it will exist in future. You didn't mention that, but Brin emphasized that he would like to use this airship for various salvage operations. So in case there was some emergency, this airship can fly really fast through a city, take people, and to move them somewhere. Yes, indeed, there is such a task. A specification is developed for it. There is a task for saving spacemen in Russia, because we're planning to use Vostochny space station, and they will land in specific areas. And when we speak about saving spacemen, Kirillin said that probably Korolov wouldn't like all of that. So it was proposed to develop specific machines for saving spacemen. This is a 40-ton airship. Only several of them are needed, maybe 4 or 5 pieces of them are needed to cover the whole zone of the device landing, and within an hour or so it will be possible to pick up this capsule so that the spaceman can enter the airship and personnel will help them. Indeed, this task is being worked out, and speaking about other salvage operations, these tasks will be implemented in future as well. So I guess that there are several more questions. Actually, there was another meeting planned. So firefighting. Yes, there are also several solutions. An airship can lift quite big cargo, and water is not always the best solution. And there is a separate area there, just like for every separate business, we will develop all these areas, people transportation, and all detailed and possible variants will be described, speaking about firefighting and off-sized cargo, stratosphere. We will share all this information with you. Okay. I do not see other questions on YouTube. I saw some hearts. Thank you, colleagues. So we are not able to answer all questions today. Fyodor has answered technical questions about this project. There are some financial questions there as well. And I requested that all the questions from YouTube, DK, and Zoom to be collected. And we will think over how to answer these questions, probably in the format of news, or probably tomorrow we'll record a video to answer all the questions. And today we should have had Sergey Shevchenko here with us, but this is the manager of SOLARGROUP's Partners Program. But as I said, the meeting is starting now. I guess that not to spend more time, I will just mention why we wanted to call him. We wanted to discuss Partners Program, and we wanted him to make an announcement, the final announcement of conditions of the Partners Program. I can actually do that, and Sergey will be invited next time. Is actually very close to us. So now I will show you the slides, and once again I will explain you what I mean. We mentioned that now we have a pre-start stage. At this pre-start stage, the investment conditions are twice better, twice more attractive than at the first stage. And now the investors have some opportunities how to get these conditions. Actually, it's not only investors, but also partners that have these conditions. And generally, you understand it, even without me, that you have an opportunity to make money when you raise investments in this project, when we help this project to develop, be promoted. And I think that you quite well how it all works. And there is a marketing plan that we prepared for the new project. And first of all, it is for the partners that have already worked with us. So let's follow the order. If you had not been SOLARGROUP's partner before, in this case, you can start working with us without limitations. You can find the marketing plan in our sections. Partners in the personal account, there is a multi-level system. I would not want to make a detailed presentation. I hope that you are aware of that. And if you are an active partner, but after the 7th of August, so after the project was launched, you signed up a new investor in the personal account. From all their purchases, without a problem, you will get referral bonus. But what is the marketing plan about? If you are our active partner and you want to get referral bonus from the purchase of investment packages in our new generation airship project, then you need to fulfill the marketing plan. And please note that now you do not receive a referral bonus from your active structure. In other words, if now you have 5 investors in Duyunov Motors project, you received referral bonus from them, and now they go and buy a new investment package, but in a different project, new generation airship project, and there you will not get anything. Moreover, the referral bonus that you have lost because you did not fulfill the marketing plan will not be accrued. It will not be returned to you. And that is why you will be able to make money only after you fulfill the marketing plan. And what do you need to fulfill this marketing plan and receive referral bonus from your old active investors? First of all, you need to make a repost. So you can find this repost button in the personal account at a special page that is devoted to our new generation airship project. The repost to any social media. This repost will be made with your referral link, and it will help you to find new potential investors. The second thing that you need to do, that is to buy an investment package that costs at least $2,000, maybe more, but not less than $2,000. You need to make actual payments for the amount of $500 and more. For example, you buy a package for $2,000 or $5,000 and you pay by installments anytime that is preferable for you. But actually, right now, you pay for it $500 for several months in advance. In this case, the first, the second, the third conditions are fulfilled. And there is condition number 4, the last condition. And here we give you a choice. So there are 3 conditions, and you can fulfill any of them. Variant number 1, you need to have 3 investors in the first line with the investment of $500. The second variant, you can have 10 investors in the first line with the investment of $50. This result is also possible. Or you can invest $10,000 personally and do not start this work with your first line. When you fulfill each of these conditions, and it seems that is quite difficult, quite a lot of them, but actually it's quite simple. Repost package starting with $2,000, actual payment for $500 within the package you selected, and some conditions within the partners program, 3 investors, 10 investors, or personal investment. And you select what you like. And please remember that until you fulfill this marketing plan, you will not receive referral bonus in the new project, new generation airships, from the investors that you had in Duyunov Motors project. I think that the partners that have worked with us for a long time, that have made thousands and dozens of thousands of dollars when they cooperated with us. I think that these conditions will be very easy for them and to continue making money with us, especially working with the clients with whom you have already worked. I think that these conditions are very loyal, and I hope that they will make you involved in the process, and that is the main intention there. Because of course, to make several sales, you will need to try and understand the project faster, to learn about the development of the project, the advantages it has, and make it now. Besides, I'd like to remind you that $1 million is the amount that we want to raise within the pre-start stage. We'll do it really fast within a few weeks. You don't have much time left, and this is an opportunity for you and your investors in your first line. And now it will be much easier to do that than later. Now, we will share this information in details, all partners, conditions. We will make publications in the newsletter. Many partners are watching us. Please talk to your structure, say this to them. Many partners not aware of that, although for a week this marketing plan has already been active. So partners are losing their referral bonus and they're not aware about it. They do not know that this money will not return to them. So please act. And I think that now it's time for us to finish. As I already mentioned, the questions that remain, I hope that our technical support will get them together, send it to me. We will post the news. I will make a video and answer the remaining questions. I guess that we skipped one question. Pavel, will Nova be included in all future newly developed companies that are related to your airship project? Yes, probably we did not disclose this subject, but Nova company will be the mother company that is established thanks to crowd funds, and this mother company will be included in all further companies that will be organized with big investor, big business, state-owned companies, so that it will have a share in all activities. So yes, Nova will be included everywhere, and it will be the driver for profit collection and the dividends payment. Yes, this question is really good. It's good that we mentioned it. When you invest today, anyway, you will get indirect profits from all business projects, even if you do not take part in them as an investor. Although probably you will not need to take part in them as an investor, because we can see the prospects. We can see that the profit will be received quite fast, quite possible that its own profit will be enough for development. So, with the current discount, it's high time. Okay, so before we finish, final announcement. Sergey Semyonov is saying, please enter. Where can they make a repost? VK. So look here, besides speaking about this broadcasting, in the past, the main place for broadcasting was YouTube. You know that now there are glitches in YouTube. It doesn't always work. It doesn't work when I use Wi-Fi. It works when I use a mobile connection. So it's difficult. That's why in Russia, most likely, most broadcastings will be conducted in VK. And now we have a separate group for this project, and all official news will be posted there, and all the main broadcastings will be placed there. That's why I request you to move to this group, to sign up for it, and please take this broadcasting. If you're watching it, probably you're watching a recording, or you will move there and make as many reposts as possible. Besides, next time, obligatory, we will conduct a game, and I will remind you until we have 100 reposts at least, because remember that we did it in the past, and indeed, there are some people watching thinking, I need to make a repost, and after that they think, no, I will not do that, but when you say it for the 5th time, they actually do it. And will there be a huge factory with dirigibles, or no? Well, yes, besides, when you make this small action, make a repost, it's possible that the destiny of the project will be resolved, because Sergey shared quite a lot of such stories when a partner or an investor made a repost, and other people made another repost from their personal page, and after that there was some big investor or some big company, I don't know, some big partner that saw it, and they decided to enter this project, made money on the partners program, and this is the result from one small repost. The social media is magic, everyone knows it, and we do not need to underestimate it. That's why if you wish good for the project, please make a repost. And I guess that's it for today. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Sergey Semyonov. Thanks a lot, Fyodor. I think that Fyodor will share what he shared today 1,000 or several thousand times, yes, but with exact numbers and time frames. And sign up to our official resources not to miss the broadcasting. Thank you, everyone. Bye, everyone.